Well, clearly, it's seen first of all as a signal of U.S. support at this really critical time for Israel. They've been preparing now for a ground offensive into Gaza, and the U.S. has been pledging, military support and also saying that it supports Israel's right to defend itself in the face of a lot of criticism now of the bombing which is taking place in Gaza and concern about the civilian casualties that will result if Israel does indeed decide to send ground troops into Gaza.
What is the status of that right now? I mean, I imagine they're still all amassed at the border. They've swept as many or pushed as many people from the north of Gaza down to the south in order to get in there. Is it imminent? I mean, are you hearing anything about the timing of the invasion?
What we understand is that, it is planned to take place imminently. I mean, clearly, it's not going to take place while these visits are occurring. I mean, today we have the German Chancellor who's visiting, tomorrow President Biden. But, it is anticipated that it could start pretty soon after that. At the same time, the U.S. has also been telling Israel, both privately and publicly, that it's got to do everything to avoid civilian casualties. So it's not clear whether that will influence the type of operation that Israel is going to conduct in Gaza.
Henry, I guess here in the States, we're watching like everyone else here. One of the questions that I think a lot of folks have is how much collateral damage to civilians and others do you believe that Israel is willing to inflict in an effort to achieve its stated military goals? Is there a sense of, in Israel, how far they really want to go?
I mean, everyone that you speak to here says that, they're in a new reality now, okay. And, they have to go to the end. They have to achieve the objective. The objective is to dismantle Hamas militarily and its administrative role as well in Gaza. Of course, this does risk extremely high civilian casualties. There are already 3,000 almost Palestinians who've died in the bombing. And although, yes, they have succeeded in getting large numbers of people to move south, still, there are several hundred thousand left in the north, and there are airstrikes also taking place in the south as well. So, the risk of collateral damage is very real.
Why are there airstrikes in the south? I thought they moved everybody to the south to avoid the airstrikes in the north.
Correct. What we understand is that they said there were targets that they had to focus on, their Hamas targets. So it's not that they're bombing, as much in the south as in the north, but nonetheless, that is taking place according to what we've heard.
Henry, prior to this, the terrorist attack, there was a fair amount of division within Israel, profound division within Israel, due in large part to Netanyahu and what he was trying to do with the judicial system. To what extent, post-attack, has the average Israeli, do they feel more united? Give us a sense of just what it feels like on the ground in Israel, talking with Israelis on the street.
I mean, Israelis have put aside those differences for now. I mean, this is a national emergency, and the country has come together. And one of the illustrations of that was the protest movement that was raising funds to protest against the judicial reforms. Those funds have now been redirected to help the military effort. You have a government now which is an emergency government which includes the opposition. So yes, the country has come together.
And Henry, it seems give us the latest reporting from the West Bank. It seems quiet there. What's the latest reporting?
Well, I mean, it's quiet because the Israeli authorities, the same day that the terrorist attacks happened, launched a massive clampdown, security clampdown. So they've been, carrying out mass arrests. They have been limiting, the movement of people within the West Bank. So, they knew that was potentially going to be another flashpoint, that there could be a spillover into the West Bank, and so they have taken very, very tough measures to prevent that from happening.
What is the value, Henry, of the Israelis allowing Ismail Haniyeh to continue to live in Qatar. I mean, we talked with Bobby Ghosh yesterday, who told us.
So this gentleman,
he's the leader of Hamas.
He's the leader of Hamas, and he's now,
and he lives in Qatar, and he is alive.
Okay.
And so yesterday we were talking with Bobby Ghosh, who pointed out that the Arab states' armies are not serious, fighting groups. And I imagine if Mossad wanted to go in there and take out Haniyeh, it would be no problem. Why don't they do that?
Well, I do think that there is a benefit. I think of still having some kind of interlocutor. There are, for example, talks taking place now on trying to get hostages out, freed. There are more than 200 Israeli hostages being held in Gaza. And apart from that, there's so much criticism now of what Israel is doing in the Arab world that I just don't think that they would want to do such an inflammatory thing as that.